Hi, welcome back. I'm Chuck, and today I'm going to show you how you can make this baseball or softball home plate and put your team's logo on it. So for the front, I'm going to use this 1x4 that is left over from a previous project, and I'm going to cut down this 1x10 to size. So let's go ahead and start by cutting this down over at the miter saw. We need this to be 17 inches, so we'll go ahead and set up the stop block. So I don't have a sliding miter saw, so it cannot cut down a board this length, but I'm going to go ahead and cut it on the crosscut sled at the table saw. I'm going to set up a stop block by clamping a board 17 inches from the blade, since that's the size of our project. After cutting these boards to length, I ripped them to 1.5 inches on the table saw, but that portion of the video got corrupted. Sorry about that. So the next step is to get these boards glued to the plywood backer, and I am going to glue them in place, but the first one I am going to also put some staples in. I would use brad nails, but my brad nailer does not have any nails that are short enough that wouldn't go through, so I'm just going to use an electric stapler. Spread this glue out. So I'm going to make sure that it is square. So now that we have the first piece that is stapled and glued in place, it'll be held there by the staples while the glue dries. We'll go ahead and glue the rest of the pieces in place. So we got all the pieces glued down, now we got to clamp it together. So to keep it from bowing when we clamp it, pushing it end to end, we want to put some call boards down. All that is boards that are going to be above and below it clamped this way, pushing it together so that when the boards are pushing the lengthwise, it doesn't force them to bow up or down. I'm just going to use some other plywood cutoffs, but you want to put some packing tape on these so that when the glue squeeze out comes out, they don't get stuck to the project. We're going to clamp it, pushing it end to end, and you'll want to tighten these a little bit at a time so it gets even distribution of pressure. Now it's all clamped up, let's just wait for the glue to dry. So the edges here are a little bit rough, so I'm going to go clean these up at the belt sander. Let's do it. If you don't have a belt sander, you can do the same thing with the orbital sander or a sanding block. The triangle at the bottom, I am going to find the center, which is at 8.5 inches. I'm going to draw a line from there to the 8th board. Now we just need to cut this out with the circular saw. Now that we have everything sanded up, we're going to take it over to the router and put a slight chamfer on the edges. Now I'm going to go ahead and tape up where all the white is going to be and get ready to paint the blue on the project. going to cut with an X-Acto knife down the center of there here in a little bit. So I am going to take an X-Acto knife and just cut all the spots where I want the edges of the tape to be at, where it's overlapped. Sometimes it helps if you have a straight edge to do this. Now it is time to go ahead and paint the blue. And you want to make sure that the tape is pressed down so you get a good seal there, so it doesn't try to bleed under when you're applying the paint. While we're waiting for the paint to dry, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel and hit the bell so you get a notification for when I put out a new video. Thanks. When I took the tape off, I immediately noticed that there were two mistakes that I'd made. First, I was supposed to leave 2 white lines at the bottom, so they should have been taped off. And second, I cut from the center of the bottom to the bottom of the 8th board, and it was supposed to be the 7th board, so the angle is off. So I had to go back with a circular saw and realign the angle and recut it. Here's what it looks like now that I fixed a couple of my mistakes. And notice the stripe here goes all the way across, and the angle is from the bottom of the 7th board instead of the 8th. And that makes this more proportional to the logo that's going to go up here. Now what we have to do is wait for it to dry completely, and we'll tape off the blue, paint the white, put the logo on, and we'll be ready to go. I went ahead and painted the white and taped it off. We are ready to take off the tape. Do this very carefully from one end to the other, going straight across so you don't drip tape on the other color. You also have to make sure that you don't get the paint that's on your hands onto the, in this case, blue, the color that's previously been painted. Overall, I'm super happy with how this turned out. I am not an expert on applying the vinyl letters or vinyl stencil and painting that in, but there are plenty of YouTube videos on that. I just wanted to focus on the making of the home plate itself. The part that was most impressive for me was how well the chamfered edges came out and how it gave it a three-dimensional type look. If you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching, and I will put out a new video soon.